Please comment where you are watching in the world. So this one starts like it could be a cute little comedy of errors, and then it quietly slides into obsession territory, and you realize halfway through your polite smile that maybe you should have left when the lights were still on. We go out. He says he's a comedian. Cool, always a bonus if someone can make me laugh, right? We hit a little place that does open mic nights, and he tells me he's going up to do a set. I didn't know he was performing tonight. He hadn't said, "I'm hitting the stage," in the flirty text. But whatever, I figure live comedy, that's fun. I order a drink. He goes up. I'm proud of him. He starts his set. 2 minutes and he's doing these jokes that aren't jokes, like ever murdered your ex? Which, is not observational comedy. It's not dark, it's just bad. No punchline, just, murder the ex lol. The crowd is not laughing. He keeps doubling down with this weird violent bravado, like he thinks he's being edgy when he's just being terrifying. He makes this offhand comment about my ex, as if he's auditioning for being the villain in a true crime docuseries. He bombs. Like spectacularly bombs. Crickets. One dude coughing in the back like he's trying to summon a laugh. You'd think he'd be embarrassed, sheepish, take it down a notch. He comes off stage flush and weirdly proud, like he designed the awkwardness on purpose. He leans over, and he whispers to me like it's part of the routine. I like to worship you. I want to touch your feet. I want to be your pet dog. And I pause. You don't get a playbook for what to do when a stranger on a first date tells you they want to be your dog. There is no etiquette for this. Do you ask follow-up questions? Is there a contract? I am simultaneously baffled and alarmed. He's not joking. He's not being coy. He's saying it like it's a job application. Position, live-in worshiper. We'll commute. We leave the venue because I'm like, okay, this is too much for right now. He offers to walk me to the subway, which is sweet in theory, until he decides that walking means demonstrating his devotion. On the subway platform, he literally drops to his hands and knees, like a human dog. Right there. Public transit smells, fluorescent lighting, strangers scrolling, and he's in full performative pet mode. He starts kissing my feet. Kissing. My feet. In public. With people around. People who are not reacting like they're seeing something strange because the city has seen everything and the threshold for, that was weird, is very high. But it is weird. It is boundary violating. It is intimate in a way you cannot consent to by virtue of sitting on a bench in front of him. He says, I'm your dog. I love you. Tell me what to do. He's got this pleading, almost feral tone like he's auditioning for the role of submissive man. I'm literally saying, get off me, in the nicest voice possible, like I'm trying to uninvite politely instead of provoking a scene. But he seems thrilled by the instruction, like humiliation is the kinkiest thing on his menu. Then, like textbook possessive behavior, it gets worse after the actual date. He texts me nothing but paw emojis. Like not, hey, I had a nice time. Not, hope you got home safe. Just paw prints. For a week. A week of nothing but paw prints, like a toddler with an emoji set. At first I think it's kind of funny, haha, quirky, but then it's like he's scripting our relationship using animal icons. That's not a unique language, that's an index of single-mindedness. He is saying, I will be small. I will be persistent. And the kicker, because you knew there would be a kicker, 1 week later I leave my building and he's outside. Standing there, like he's been waiting, like he has a schedule. 8:07 a.m. hopeful humanity check. He is outside my building. He must have known when I leave for work or when I tend to get coffee because he's there like some sort of vigilante fan. My first reaction is adrenaline. My second is, oh no. He says hi, like everything is normal. Like he's popped by to return a library book. Like he hasn't been going around dropping to his knees in public or texting me paw prints. I'm instantly on my phone, and I audibly say, please don't do this. I'm not subtle. I'm not coy. I'm direct, because boundaries have a volume level, and I just turned mine up to 11. He says, in that same puppy voice, did I do something wrong? Was I not a good boy? And the sheer self-congratulatory entitlement makes me want to block him on everything and possibly invent a new social media just to filter people like him out permanently. So I block him. I report him to the app. I tell a friend. I avoid the subway stop for a week. He never escalates to physically following me home, which I am grateful for, but the fact that he thought this was romantic in the first place. That's the part that messes me up. That he read some manual in his head where being performatively subservient equals being desired. Here's the thing about fetishizing submission in public. It disregards the other person's consent by making intimacy into a public spectacle. It's coercive because now you feel watched, evaluated, and manipulated into performing kindness. It's not sexy. It's predatory, thinly veiled as quirky. So yeah, I never spoke to him again. I blocked him. He was woof until he wasn't. And sometimes I still catch myself, years later, on a subway platform, glancing down at my shoes and thinking, don't let anyone treat you like a prop. Don't let anyone reduce you to a grovel. If they want to be your dog, they can adopt one. So this date starts weird and then immediately sprints into should I call the police or Ancestry.com. And honestly, by the end, you're just sitting there with your jaw on the floor like, I don't think that was a date. I think that was evidence collection. So, she goes out with this guy. Normal start. Talking, drinks, conversation, whatever. And he opens with what has to be one of the wildest icebreakers of all time. He literally asks her, "Do you know who your father is?" First of all, "Sir, what?" Not "what do you do?" Not "what music are you into?" Not "what's your star sign?" None of the usual first date warm-ups. This man jumps straight to paternity. Straight to, are you familiar with the identity of the man who contributed 50% of your DNA? Which, even if you're saying it in a jokey tone, is insane. But he's not saying it in a jokey tone. He's just saying it. Casual. Like that small talk. She's like, "Yeah, I know who my dad is." "Do you know who your dad is?" "Why are we doing genealogy over appetizers?" And he kind of shrugs it off like just wondering, like it's nothing. Red flag number 1. Fast forward a little. They're sitting there longer, and she notices something off. Like physically off. He's doing this thing with his hands. Not nervous fidgeting. Not tapping the table. Not stroking his beard like he's thinking. He's hovering. Near her hair. Like he keeps finding reasons to touch around her shoulders. "Oh, you've got a little something there. Oh, sorry, there's lint." That fake little reach? Except there is no lint. There is no something. What he's actually doing is trying to get his fingers into her hair. Not in a flirty, tuck it behind your ear way. In a collect the specimen way. At first she thinks maybe she's imagining it. Because who would do that, right? Who just tries to pull hair off a stranger like it's a scratch-off ticket. So she lets it go, and then she catches him again, hand literally mid-air, sneaking in like a crane game. And then she straight up asks him, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And this is where any normal person would get embarrassed, apologize, maybe say, "Oh, sorry, you had something in it." Whatever. That's the out. That's the exit ramp. He could have taken that. He could have just lied like a normal weirdo. He panics. And goes, "Nothing." Like 5 times in a row. Nothing, 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 nothing. Which, if you've ever parented a toddler or watched a cop show, you know means something. She's like, "That was attached to my head." "What are you doing?" He's like, No, there was just a piece of hair on you. I was just trying to get it." And she's like, "Yes. It was on me. That's because it's mine. That's how hair works." At this point you're already thinking, okay, ew, he's a hair guy. Like cool, we've reached the fetish portion of the evening. Time to wrap this up. Thank you for coming, grab your coats. But oh, no, it's worse. Because then comes the goodbye. They've made it like an hour and a half. She's already in exit strategy mode. She's polite. She goes for that polite little goodbye hug. You know, the awkward lean in, one arm, keep the hips back so there's no "I'm claiming your body" energy. That hug. And he grabs her hair. Not like a little tug. Not like a playful, haha whoops. He full-on takes a handful of hair at the back of her head and ynks. Hard. Like scalp pain, eyes watering, full body flinch. She screams. Obviously. You would too. You'd think you're being attacked because, hello, you literally are. She jerks back like, "What is wrong with you? What are you doing?" And finally, he gives her the explanation. And the explanation somehow manages to be more insane than the behavior. He goes dead serious. "I'm pretty sure you're my sister." I'm sorry? I'm sorry? I'm sorry? That is his line. That is his defense. That is his no babe chill, I had a reason. "I'm pretty sure you're my sister." Oh, okay, cool, so assault is fine if it's for science. Got it. Thank you for clearing that up, Officer DNA. So now he starts trauma dumping this whole story about his dad, like he's giving lore. He says he only recently found out who his father is. And apparently his father is busy. Like fertile. Like legacy of chaos level. He claims his dad has like 30 other kids. 30. 30. Which is already like, alright, good luck to that family WhatsApp. So this man, This man on a date with you has allegedly been matching with women he thinks look kind of like him because he is trying to figure out which ones are actually his siblings on dating apps. Let's pause. Let's all sit with that. Instead of, I don't know, doing a DNA test, messaging possible siblings like a normal human being. Hey, awkward question. Did your mom ever know a guy named underscore 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 around this time? Instead of literally any direct method, he is taking women on dates, pretending to be interested, and then collecting samples. He's on Tinder like it's 23andMe Premium. He's stealing hair to run his own back alley ancestry lab. That's his plan. And he says it like it's noble. He says it like he's the hero in a sad indie film. Like, yeah, this is just something I've got to do right now, it's really heavy for me emotionally. Meanwhile, you've got a bald patch forming because Sherlock Incest Holmes over here decided to rip your roots out for evidence. And here's the part where the narrator steps in, because the narrator is all of us. And the narrator is like, I don't buy it. I don't buy the, I'm just trying to find my family angle. I think this is his cover story. This is his kink. The hair is the point. The sister thing is the excuse he uses when he gets caught yanking pieces off women's heads like a raccoon stealing shiny objects. Because let's be real. If you honestly thought there was even a non-zero chance this was your biological sister, why are you on a date with her? Why are you flirting with her? Why are you out here like, do you know who your father is, winking face dot? Why did you try to kiss her earlier? Because, yeah, by the way, before the hair grab, he was giving all the normal this is a date signals. Sitting close. Getting handsy. Doing the lean in. The vibe was not, hey possible sibling, let's connect platonically and exchange medical history for future cardiology screenings. The vibe was I'd hit. So, sir, which is it? And also if he's really doing this with multiple women, right? If this is like his mission? Imagine the text afterward if it turns out yes, you are related. Had a great time tonight, sis 2 hearts, we should maybe not hook up ever again, lol. Family first face blowing a kiss dot. Like what do you even say? Do you send the split bill? Do you Venmo with the note, incest screening fee? And logistically, how is he checking the hair? Is he going home with a plastic baggie labeled Tuesday girl / possible sibling / brunette sample? Is there a spreadsheet? Does he have a folder? Is he swabbing himself in his bathroom like he's running CSI? Father was busy edition? It's so creepy because it's so calm. He doesn't think it's creepy. That's the chilling part. He's not like, wow, I'm sorry, that sounded crazy, I know this is a lot, let me explain because you're probably freaked out. No. He says it like it's reasonable. Like you should actually feel bad for yelling at him. Like you overreacted to being scalp assaulted in public. So this is one of those stories where technically nothing bad happens, like no one gets chased with poop. Nobody pretends you're already pregnant. Nobody orders 100 tacos. But it is still the kind of date that just rots your soul from the inside out because of how embarrassing it is for everyone involved. We're at a bar. It's the first date. We've sat down for maybe 4 minutes. We are still in the hi, how are you, how is parking stage. We are not deep. We are not vulnerable. We are not sharing childhood trauma. We're barely past names. And he does the move. You know the move. He puts his phone on the table, screen up. That is important. Phone. Screen up. On the table. Facing him. Right away. Now look. If you're gonna run the fake emergency call to get out of a date, play okay. I'm not even judging the tactic. I get it. Sometimes dates feel unsafe. Sometimes you're not attracted. Sometimes you're just not feeling it, and you want the clean escape hatch. That's fine. That's practical. People do that. Women definitely do that, and I support women doing that for safety reasons, no questions asked. But you have to at least commit to the script. This man, no script. Improv only. And we are not talking good improv. We're talking 2 a.m. basement open mic improv where no one is laughing. So we're sitting there and his phone rings. Except it does not ring. Nothing is ringing. No sound. No vibration. No flashing. The screen does not light up. Nothing changes. He just looks down at his lock screen, which, reminder, is not showing an incoming call, and goes, ah, my homie keeps calling me. My brother in Christ. Your homie is literally your wallpaper. He picks up the phone, that has not rung, and does this whole act. He frowns, he sighs, he squints like he's getting dramatic news, and then he puts it down and he's like, man, this is crazy. My boy just got in a car crash. Oh no, not the car crash. He went straight for the my friend is currently dying card. On minute 5. That's advanced level fake emergency. Usually people warm up with, oh my roommate's locked out, or oh my sister needs me to grab her kid. He jumps straight to tragedy is unfolding as we speak. I must go. And I'm just sitting across from him like, MHM. Totally. Absolutely. Your friend is in a serious medical emergency, and you are sitting there looking at your background photo like it's CNN. Definitely. So I'm like, oh, wow, that's serious. Are they okay? And he's like, yeah, I don't know yet. It's like really intense. And he does this little stare off into the middle distance thing like he's in a sad indie movie about brotherhood. He's really acting. He thinks he's nailing it. Then because he apparently thinks I was born yesterday and also blind, he adds in this heavy voice, I hate to do this, but like, I might have to go. I just gotta go check on him. I don't want to leave, but... And look. At this point, if he had just ended the night there, I would have actually respected it. Respect the lie. Commit to the lie. Fine. Take your Oscar and exit stage left. I would have been like, go king, do what you must. And we both could have gone on with our lives. But men get greedy. He does not leave. He stays. He keeps sitting there. He keeps talking. At this point we're 15, 20 minutes in, and he's still there, still chatting, still trying to flirt like nothing happened, still doing the casual touch on the table, still looking at my mouth while I'm talking, still like, so what kind of music do you like? Sir, your friend is allegedly folded around a guardrail at a 45-degree angle, and you're asking me if I'm into Afrobeats or indie pop. And this is where the secondhand embarrassment goes nuclear, because you can feel him planning the whole exit. You can literally see him building his lie in real time like Lego. Like, you can see the wheels turning in his eyes. He's like, okay, at what timestamp do I pretend I got the update call? How do I pretend to read a text that doesn't exist? How much fake concern is too much fake concern before it becomes comedy? Can I get away with ICU? And he's still doing the thing where he glances dramatically down at his phone every few minutes like, man, he keeps calling. And I'm just staring at this black, dead, untouched lock screen like, no, he does not. Your phone is not lighting up. Your phone is in airplane mode from 2012. Your phone is a coaster. Here's the part that kills me though. He tries to keep the romantic energy going while running the, I have to go. So he's already setting up the next time. He's already like, this is such bad timing because like I'm really having a vibe with you, and this is so unfortunate, and like I hate that I have to leave, but maybe we can, finish this at my place. Oh, there it is. There it is, folks. We have entered familiar territory. Welcome to the fake emergency but also Netflix? He basically tries to stack excuses into a combo meal. He thinks he can get out of paying for drinks and pivot to come over. He's like, I just think I'd be more comfortable at my place right now with everything going on. You can come with me if you want. For support. Support. Like I'm gonna provide critical moral backup during his imaginary friend's imaginary post-crash recovery by, what? Sitting on his couch, taking my shoes off. Comforting him by removing clothing? Is that the plan, Dr. House? Is that the treatment? This is the thing. This is the male delusion. He really thinks this is smooth. He thinks this is persuasive. He thinks my homie is bleeding out, come vibe at my apartment is hot. Now, because this wasn't enough cringe yet, let me paint you a bonus scenario the narrator gives that just honestly belongs in a museum. He goes into parody mode and acts out the worst possible version of this lie. The asteroid call. Imagine you're on a date and the guy looks down at his phone, again not ringing, and he's like, oh no, I'm getting a call. I normally don't answer calls on a first date because I'm a gentleman, but this is serious. Then he puts the phone to his ear locked, and he goes, what? An asteroid? A 100-mile wide asteroid is heading toward the city right now. Everyone needs to evacuate immediately. Oh my God. Then he hangs up like, dang, that was 911. And you're like, I'm sorry, did you say 911 called you? They call people now. That's a new feature? And he's like, yeah, so actually I should go. I just remembered also that I have a dentist appointment in like 45 minutes. And I just can't miss that because like my insurance and the asteroid, and it's just crazy timing, honestly. And you're sitting there like, so you're fleeing the city from a doomsday-level space event and getting your teeth cleaned, but you're totally free to hook up after though, right? Cool. That's the energy this man had. That's the tier we're dealing with. So this guy matches with this girl, and she hits him with the energy immediately. No slow build, no weeks of snapping, no fake, haha, what are you up to tonight? It's like a Friday/Saturday night. He's already out with his friends, and she messages him straight up. You want to stay over tonight? That's the opener. Not want to go get a drink. Not you free sometime. Not what are you doing later. Just come sleep here. And he's like, obviously, bet. Because he's a guy. He's like, yeah, sure. Which, let's pause, he does say later, in hindsight, when it's that easy that fast, something's off. He's like, as I get older I realize, if it's that easy, something's weird. But in the moment, in real time, hormones are like, shoo, we'll do the thinking later. So she's like, cool, come meet me at this bar first, I'm here with my friends. So he and his boys pull up. It's loud, it's crowded, it's one of those bars where people are screaming on purpose and the floor is sticky. He meets her friends are already like, you're so cute together. And in his head he's like, okay, social proof, nice, this could be fun. He gets next to her, and that's when the whole date just slams into a wall. Because when I tell you he smelled it, I mean he smelled it. And not like, oh, little bad breath, had onions, no big deal. He says it was the worst smell he has ever smelled in his entire life. Not the worst breath. The worst smell. Category smell. Top of the chart. Global ranking. Hall of Fame. He is standing next to her, and immediately his brain goes into emergency lockdown. Like eyes watering, stomach folding, skin trying to exit his body. And at first he doesn't totally believe it's her. He's like, maybe there's a sewer leak in here. Maybe there's something rotting under the bar mats. Maybe there's a dead raccoon in the ceiling vents. He's trying to give her the benefit of the doubt because she's cute and he's here and he said bet. And he would really like this to not be happening. But then her friends are like, kiss. Kiss. You guys look so cute, kiss. And she kind of leans in, and that smell hits him full blast. It is her. It is entirely her mouth. He says it's rancid. He said it wasn't morning breath. It wasn't coffee breath. It wasn't ate garlic. It was deep. It was structural. It was like something had died in her throat and signed a lease. And listen, her friends? Her friends are not helping. Her friends are like, oh, you guys are adorable, kiss her, which is honestly violence. Those are not friends. Or maybe those are friends who have told her 700 times and she didn't listen, and now they're like, fine, suffer, king. Either way, they're chanting kiss, 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 and he's just doing evasive maneuvers like he's dodging a laser grid in a heist movie. He's like, oh, I'm not really a PDA guy. Which is a lie. He literally says, I love PDA. I am a PDA guy. I am a public display of affection enthusiast. But in that moment, that's the only excuse he can think of that sounds semi-polite. Because you can't just go, no, I will not kiss you, because every time you exhale I see God, and not in a good way. So he's doing little leanbacks, little head turns, giving her the cheek, trying to angle the conversation so her face is not fully aimed at his nose. And meanwhile his brain is like, we have to go. We have to go right now. We have to leave this building and possibly this city. But he can't figure out how to leave without looking rude because it's been like, what, 10 minutes? Maybe 12. You can't just Irish exit after 10 minutes, right? You can. You absolutely can. You should. But in the moment you feel like you can't. So he's stalling. He orders an Uber and is like, okay, I'll just bail once the car's here. Cool. Smooth. But while they're waiting for the Uber, she is trying to kiss him again. And now he's out of lies. He has nothing left. He can't keep doing, haha, I'm shy, because she's not buying it, and her mouth is still trying to enter his airspace. So this man panic confesses. He just blurts it out. He goes, look, I'm sorry, but your breath is really bad. Like really bad. I just can't. And immediately he's like, I cannot believe I said that out loud. I hate myself. I'm a villain. I'm going to hell. But she doesn't get mad. She doesn't slap him. She doesn't storm off. She just goes, oh my God, I hope I don't have halosis. Halosis. She means halitosis, like chronic bad breath. But she says it like it's a medical condition she's been diagnosed with by 3 specialists. Yeah, I have halosis. Like she's going to file for disability. So now he's like, oh, you already knew. She's known. She's aware. This is not new data for her. This is a pre-existing situation. At this point, normal people would part ways. They would say, okay, this clearly isn't going to work, have a nice life. End of episode. But no, of course not. He still goes back to her apartment with her. This is where, respectfully, we turn the camera around on him. Because yes, she's a walking biohazard right now, but also, sir, what are you doing? You literally said you felt like you were going to throw up, and you still went home with her. Why? Why? Be serious. Be honest with yourself. Be for real for once. They get to her apartment, and it's instantly worse. The smell situation is not just oral. The apartment has a smell. She's got dogs, plural, and carpets, plural, old carpets. And she's like, "Oh, before you sit on the couch or stand on the rug, put these sandals on." Which is already not a sentence you want to hear in a stranger's home. House shoes. Cute. Wear these sandals so you don't step directly in the pee. Absolutely not. He goes, "Why?" And she just goes, really casual, "Yeah, sometimes the dogs pee on the carpet." Sometimes. That's the word she uses. Sometimes. As in currently. As in right now. As in, there is an active moisture situation beneath your toes that the landlord does not know about. He's like, "Do you clean it?" And she's like, "It's really hard to clean. Babe." And now that bad smell from earlier? He realizes it's in the air here too. It's in the fibers. It's in the fabric. It's in the couch. It's like the apartment has a humidity of funk. He says he literally couldn't get rid of it. After he left, he brushed his teeth, still smelled it. Put lotion on his face, still smelled it. Showered, still smelled it. Threw up. Still smelled it. And meanwhile, in his head at the time, he's thinking, maybe when we get back I can be like, "Hey, let's brush our teeth together. Haha, cute couples thing." Like he's going to fix this girl in 5 minutes with a mint and a prayer. My brother in Christ. She doesn't need gum. She needs a dentist, a deep clean, a humidifier, a carpet replacement, and maybe a priest. So finally, his survival instincts kick in. He bails. He literally pays like $40 for an Uber to get home, even though she lives like 10 minutes from his place, because he said at that point he did not care, he just needed out. He gets home, he's gagging, his pores feel contaminated, he's scrubbing like he's in a medical drama after a biohazard scene. So this dude gets on Hinge, right? He matches with this girl. Then he pulls up to get her in real life. And Buddy is stunned, because she is not the same size as the photos. At all. She's, in his words, easily 210, 215 now. Like literally almost a different body type. And immediately he's like, "Oh okay, so we're doing lies then." And listen, yes, men filter, women filter, everybody angles, everybody edits, whatever, we all know. But this isn't just, "Oh, she face-tuned her jawline a little." This is, you used pictures from at least 2 bodies ago. So right off the bat, he's already low-key irritated. Not saying it, but it's sitting in his chest. Now, he had actually tried to be decent and kind of impress her because this was the first meet, so he had booked them a table at a nice-ish place. Not like $4 white tablecloth and a man named Laurent judging you for asking for ranch. More like special but not insane. Like a $, not a $. But on the way there, the restaurant calls him and is like, "Hey, so sorry, we've had a pipe burst, we gotta cancel all our reservations for the night." And secretly, he's happy. He's like, "Thank God I have an out. This is my moment. I can just be like, a shoot, what a shame, rain check, and then drive home and play Call of Duty in peace." But no, he doesn't do that. He keeps going. He's like, "Well, we're already dressed, we're already in the car, I might as well take her somewhere." So he's frantically looking for a backup spot on his phone, scrolling maps, scanning reviews, and he finds this place that shows up as $, on Apple Maps. $2. Reasonable. That's like decent food, not gonna cry when the bill comes. So they get there. He walks in, instantly knows he's made a mistake. Because when I tell you it is not. Immianitis.net. Candlelight. Soft music. Waiters in black with the towel over the arm. Wine list like a biblical scroll. And the menu comes out, and it does that thing fancy restaurants do where they don't list prices next to certain items. You know that trick? Where they're like bone marrow / truffle / reduction / heirloom blah blah blah. And no price, just vibes. He used to work in fine dining, so he knows what that means. That means this is about to be rent money. At this point he's like, "Man, I did not mean to bring her to a $3, possibly $4 situation. I would have taken her to Chili's. I would have taken her to a 2 for $25 and a lava cake type of establishment. I don't even know this woman. But they're already seated. They've got water. The server is already like still or sparkling, flat or bubbly, which we all know is code for, would you like to accidentally add $14 to your bill before we've even said hello?" And then she orders. My God, she orders. Not, "Let's share an appetizer." Not, "Okay, I'll start with this." No. This girl goes predator mode on the menu like she's drafting an army. She orders 4 appetizers. By herself. Without asking him, do you want to split? Without even looking at him. Just, I'll take the crab, whatever, the scallops, the burrata, that wagyu starter. Yeah, that one too. He's sitting there like, okay. Big appetite. That's bold. That's okay. Maybe she hasn't eaten today. And then she orders 3 entrees. Again. For herself. Not, we'll share. Not, why don't we each get one and taste both? 3. And then she orders 2 desserts. They haven't even gotten bread yet. He said, and this is his quote, basically, what she ordered was like food for 5 people at a table. Minimum. Like this wasn't date night. This was Thanksgiving. And she's not blushing, she's not shy, she's not self-conscious. She's proud. She literally looks at him and goes, I just want to let you know food is my main hobby. Food is my main hobby. Not, I love to cook. Not, I'm a foodie, I like trying new places. No, my hobby is eating. Like, actively consuming massive quantities of restaurant food is her personality. She's announcing it like it's quilting. He's already in shock, and then she goes super casual. I should tell you something else about me. I'm really toxic. He laughs like, haha, yeah, we all got a little toxic in us. You know, thinking she means like, I get clingy sometimes, or I'll overthink your text and spiral. Cute toxic. Instagram toxic. She's like, no. I mean, I like to make my boyfriend think I'm cheating so he'll freak out, and then we have crazy make-up sex. And he's like, I'm sorry? She explains. Like she's proud of it. She says she likes drama. She likes it when men are jealous and panicking. So she will purposely text them, I can't see you tonight, and then at 1:30 in the morning, send herself a fake message from a fake guy that says something like, I'm outside, or I'm pulling up now, and make sure her boyfriend sees it. So he'll think she's hooking up with somebody else and lose his mind. She likes that feeling. The chaos. She literally says she wants emotional roller coasters on purpose, so the reunion is more intense. This is not whispered. This is not, I've done it once and regret it. This is announced. At dinner. With a smile. He's in the booth like, that's not quirky. That's not, haha, I'm a little crazy. That's a felony of the heart. But we're not done. We are absolutely not done. Because then she's like, that's nothing. When I get mad, I ruin people's lives. And if you are a sane person, that would be where you stop talking. That is where you say, haha, anyway, how's work? And you pivot. She does not pivot. She leans in. She goes, like this one time, this guy cheated on me. He was a middle school teacher. So I made a fake profile pretending to be a young girl, like a student, and I sent all the messages between me and him to the principal and the school board, and said he was talking to me inappropriately. Got him fired. Got him banned from teaching in the whole state. She says that, out loud, over candlelight, while they're waiting on scallops. Like that's adorable. Like that's just a funny fun fact about me face blowing a kiss. My man is sitting there in absolute silence, watching his entire bank account evaporate, while this woman describes fabricating evidence to end a person's entire career because she felt disrespected. He said that's when he literally started scanning the room for the waiter like, where's the check? I need to get out. I don't even care if my entree hasn't come yet. I don't care if dessert hasn't dropped. I don't even want to taste the creme brulee. I want freedom. Because at this point, this isn't a date. This is an exit interview before you die. You don't feel like you're talking to a person you might kiss later. You feel like you're trapped across from the villain monologue where she explains her whole backstory before she pushes the button that opens the shark tank. Now here's the part that really hurts. The check comes. And because this is a $, or maybe $, but definitely not $, place where she ordered half the menu like it was a sampler platter, it comes out to, and he swears this is true, around $1,700. $1,700. For a first date with a stranger who catfished her body size, bragged about manufacturing infidelity drama, and admitted on record that she has impersonated a minor to intentionally nuke a man's career out of spite. He pays. So, context, this is not a first date. This is date 2, which is important. Because date 2 is the okay, I guess I like you enough to see you again in public stage. It's not, we're serious. It's not, we've seen each other naked. It's, you seem normal enough to spend more than an hour with. That's where we are. He says first date was fine. Normal enough. So second date plan, go to the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago, walk around, hang out, then maybe get food. Maybe hit some little shops in Old Town. Cute. That is a cute second date. That is a rom-com second date. We're silly, we're wholesome, we're near otters. They get there. They park. They walk the zoo. They're doing the slow stroll, window shopping the animals. A little arm brushing. A little, oh my god, look at that one. The weather is cloudy but not horrific. Just that Midwest gray that feels like the sky hasn't had coffee yet. They're vibing. They're having that easy talk where nothing's too deep, but nothing's awkward either. So far, so good. Then the rain starts. And I don't mean drizzle. I don't mean sprinkles, haha let's huddle under this tree and be cute. I mean biblical. Biblical rain. At first they try to tough it out. They're running under canopies with everybody else doing the, haha wow this is crazy we're so random laugh. They're ducking into doorways, waiting it out. But it doesn't stop. It just gets heavier and heavier until clothing is sticking to skin, and hair is plastered and both of them are soaked. So they're like okay, we're not doing the cute rain aesthetic, we're doing survival mode. Let's go back to the car. Small note, the car is 8 blocks away. 8 Chicago blocks. In a full horizontal downpour. They start running. Now, have you ever sprinted 8 city blocks in soaked clothes? By block 2 you're not running, you're dragging. Your socks are heavy. Your jeans feel like denim cement. Your shoes are making that schlup noise like you're stepping in raw mac and cheese. Your hair is in your eyes and water is in your mouth and you cannot see and you're laughing because the alternative is crying. But anyway, they finally make it to the car, still in this absolute waterfall coming from the sky. They get in, slam the doors, and now it's that moment of silence where you're both just breathing hard and dripping everywhere and laughing like, oh my god that was insane, and trying to catch up to your own heart rate. He's in the driver's seat, doing normal post-downpour stuff, right? He's peeling off his soaked jacket. He's wiping his face with his sleeve. He's shaking his hair out like a dog. He's wringing rainwater out of his shirt. The car is fogging up instantly because they're basically humidifiers now. He turns to check on her. She is completely naked. Like, not shirt off, sports bra on. Not, took her jeans off because they were heavy. No. She is, in his words, naked as a jaybird. Fully nude. Passenger seat. Windows all around. Middle of the day. He's like, whoa, WHOA, because this is not the timeline he thought we were in. He thought we were in, haha we got wet timeline. She is in, I am now comfortable being bare in your car next to an active public sidewalk, and also a police force that definitely exists timeline. He's like, oh, I didn't know you were like changing, trying to be respectful, trying not to be a creep, trying not to stare while also not crashing the car they're not even moving yet in. And she's like super chill about it. No embarrassment. No big deal. Just, my clothes are soaked. I don't like them touching me like that. I'll just sit like this. I'll just sit like this. Like that is the most normal sentence in the world. Like being fully unclothed in a car with a man you've met twice is the same as, I'll roll down the window a little. And then, because the universe wanted him to experience maximum blood pressure, she puts her foot up on the dash. Let's talk about that. This is not just she's nude but tastefully curled up in a little ball, covered by her hands, minimal exposure. No. She throws her leg up like she's stretching before soccer practice. She reclines. She's open. She is functionally on display. And again, it is daytime. They are parked on a public street. People are walking by. Cars are driving by. Rain or not, there is visibility. This is not some secret underground bunker where no one can see. This is Chicago. So he's immediately in fight or flight, but not even like sexy panic, more like legal panic. He's thinking, if a cop rolls past right now, and all he sees is me in the driver's seat, and a very clearly naked woman in the passenger seat with her leg hiked up, what story does that look like? Because I need you to understand, once you're a grown man, the fear is not, OMG she's naked. The fear is, I am about to explain this situation to law enforcement and my mother. Like think about that call. Hey mom, yeah, I need bail because I went to look at giraffes and now I've been charged with public indecency and contributing to whatever that law is called where you're not allowed to just have active nudity in traffic. So he's like, hey, can you maybe like not do that with your foot? Because people can see. And she just goes totally casual. I don't care. It's just a body. It's fine. Which, yes, body positivity, empowerment, love that for her, etc. But also there's empowerment, and then there's my guy is about to catch a whole case because you are raw in a Toyota. He's like, no, I get it, totally bodies are normal, but like the police are also normal, and I just don't. I don't want to get pulled over for this. I don't want to get put on some list, you know? Because imagine the registry form for that. Reason, took girl to the zoo. So at this point, he's like, I have to solve this now. I cannot drive around like this. I cannot pull off and get gas like this. I cannot get stopped at a red light like this. I cannot exist like this for more than 90 seconds. So he thinks fast. He's like, okay, just stay here, don't just here, sit low, please, for the love of God, sit low. And he darts out into the rain again. Now picture this man sprinting into an Old Navy like his life depends on it. Absolutely soaked, hair dripping, shirt stuck to him, borderline hyperventilating, and going through clearance leggings and oversized tees at lightning speed like he's on supermarket sweep. Grabbing sweatpants, grabbing a hoodie, not even checking sizes, just medium, large, whatever, fabric is fabric, we're covering skin, that's the mission. He buys her clothes. He runs back to the car. He's like, here, please just put these on, please. And to her credit, she does. She throws them on like, yeah, okay, sure, and she's still acting like nothing is weird. Like this is just a totally normal errand they ran together. Like, that was sweet, you bought me pants, lol. Meanwhile, he's in the driver's seat, seeing his entire future flash. Courtroom. Mugshot. Boss finding out. Group chat roasting him forever. His name becoming a cautionary meme. All because it rained. They drive home, and at that point the vibe is just done. It's not, wow, we survived something wild, and now we're so bonded. It's, I just did crisis management for a nude person I barely know, and I don't think I'm emotionally equipped for that at this stage of my life. And afterward he's like, yeah, look. She was cool, she was hot, she was confident. But also, no, there's no third date. So we go out on this date, right? And at first I'm thinking, okay, maybe this will actually be normal, like bare minimum normal. We're at dinner, we're talking, he's got that fake confident energy, that I practice these lines in the mirror voice, but whatever, I'm like, fine, I can sit through a meal. We get on the topic of love languages, because of course we do, because apparently that's like a BuzzFeed quiz people use now instead of having a personality, and he asks me, what's your love language? So I tell him I'm honest, I say, mine's acts of service and gift giving. That's how I show love. I just mean I like doing things for people I care about, and I like thoughtful little things, you know? Like, hey, I brought you coffee because you had a rough shift. Not, here's a diamond necklace, you owe me your soul. Just normal. And he immediately goes, dead serious. That's actually really narcissistic. I'm like, huh? He says, yeah, because that means you do things so people will look at you. You're making it about you. That's manipulative. Sir. What? First 10 minutes of the date, and he's already negging my literal capacity for generosity. Like I told you I like to help people, and you called me a narcissist. Imagine if I'd said physical touch. He'd be like, oh, so you're emotionally weak. Okay, diagnosis, Dr. TikTok. Meanwhile, when I ask him his love language, he's like, words of affirmation. Which cool, but then he says it like this. My love language is words of affirmation. I like being told I'm amazing. I'm very high value. So he just told me, I respond best when you praise me constantly, and then in the same breath called me narcissistic because I buy people soup when they're sick. Make it make sense. And then it gets better. A couple times throughout the night, not once, not joking, like multiple times, he looks at me across the table, like full eye contact, leans in and says, you're so lucky to be out with a guy like me. Like, out loud, with his mouth. I'm so attractive. I'm like really good looking. You're honestly so average, and I'm like, and then he does this little self-satisfied shrug, like he's being humbled by informing me of my own statistical position. He goes, I wish I could be you right now so I could look at me instead of looking at you. I'm sitting there like, wow, we're doing this in public, in 4K, on a first date, no warm-up. And every time he says you're average, he says it like he's gifting me that information. Like I should thank him for the performance review. Like, hey babe, just letting you know you're a mid-tier product. Anyway, want a split dessert? And listen, if somebody ever tells me you're so average, here's what I'm saying back. Oh yeah? Well, you're so mean. Since we're throwing around data, here's mine. You're emotionally feral. You evolutionary throwback. Go back in the sea. It keeps going. Anytime I'm like, please don't touch me, he tries to touch me again. He keeps reaching for my hand, keeps doing that fake casual waist touch when we're walking, like he's entitled to contact already. And I'm very clear, I'm like, don't. I just met you. I'm not into that. And he does that offended laugh guys do, like I'm being rude for not letting a stranger put his hands wherever. So now we've established that his love languages are physical touch and being a giant walking red flag. We're still talking, and he brings up this book, The 48 Laws of Power. And now he's excited, because he thinks this is his intellectual moment. He's like, I study psychology like I study manipulation. Which, first of all, EW, and second of all, you read one book at the airport and now you're a warlord. Relax, Emperor. He goes, it basically teaches you how to control people. Like if you buy people gifts, they feel indebted, and then you can influence their behavior. Gifts make women compliant. He's explaining this to me like a TED Talk nobody asked for. And I just look at him and I'm like, is that why you brought the roses? Because yeah, he showed up holding roses like he was being romantic. But now he's literally telling me that his plan was deploy flower asset, gain control of target. Like I'm a small nation he's trying to destabilize. Meanwhile, he is absolutely serious. He nods like he expects me to go, oh, strategic, daddy, wow, infiltrate me. Also, manipulation doesn't work if you announce it to the person you're trying to manipulate. Welcome to law number 12, gaslighting. I'm about to pretend I didn't call you average. Sir, you said it 9 times and breathed on my breadstick while you said it. I promise I remember. Then, we finished dinner. The sun is still out. People are walking dogs and pushing strollers. The world is normal. We're on the sidewalk, and he does this move like he's going to hold my hand again. I pull away. He slides his hand instead to my stomach. My stomach. Like low too. Not like, haha, poke your tummy. Like he is already acting like that's his property. And he leans in, and he says, can you imagine this? We're married. You're carrying our child. Our child. And then he kneels down. In the middle of the street. Broad daylight. Crowd of people. He bends down and kisses my stomach. Like I am currently pregnant with his future heir. First date. No, wait, let me emphasize this, because it did not happen in a dream, it happened in this universe. This man, after insulting me for an hour, after calling me average, after telling me he's basically a god, decided to kiss the imaginary fetus he thinks he has already put inside me, with his mouth, in public, while making eye contact with my abdomen. I am frozen. I am not charmed. I am not awe. I am in fight or flight with a smile on, because women are trained to be polite even while our souls are leaving our bodies. Because what am I supposed to do? Scream? Kick him in the jaw? Burst into flames? I want to. Oh, I want to. And he looks up at me all dreamy, like he just did something tender. Like we're in a movie montage, and this is the part where romantic piano plays, and we cut to our wedding photos and a baby shower. Like he thinks this is chapter 3 of our love story, not evidence exhibit for the restraining order. I literally went home and blocked him on everything. Like, immediately. Block. 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 Delete. Gone. Vanished. Witness protection. Because here's the scariest part. He genuinely believed this was smooth. He wasn't embarrassed. He wasn't like, haha, I'm being weird. No. He was sure. He was operating at full husband fantasy like he'd already skipped 15 steps of consent, intimacy, respect, basic human decency, everything. In his head, we're not on a first date. In his head, we already live together, share a mortgage, and I'm incubating his legacy like some kind of rental unit. And bonus? He straight up told me earlier that he's a perfect 10 and I'm a 5, so obviously our baby would come out a 7.5. He literally did math on an imaginary child he thinks he put in my imaginary womb. Sir, the only thing you're fathering is delusion. Anyway, that's when the date ended. That exact sidewalk moment right there, that was my uterus filing a police report. So this man messages me just straight in like, I like your face, let's get some food. That's the opener. Not hi. Not what's your name again, just I like your face. Like I'm a meal prep container. And I'm sitting there like, bold. But okay, whatever, I'm bored, I'm hungry, and sometimes you gamble. Then he goes, meet me at my house. Red flag number 1. Because sir, why am I meeting a man I don't know at his house? On the first link, but against my better judgment, and listen, I have to own my part here. I do it. I literally drive 45 minutes. So I pull up to this house. He's already outside waiting. I'm sorry? He's like, yeah, can you drive us? I lost my keys. Lost my keys. Translation: I do not have a car. That's when red flag number 2 crawls out of the bushes and sits in my lap. But again, we're here now. We're in it. I already drove 45 minutes. At that point your brain is like, well, I've invested this much time, maybe it'll get better. Which, by the way, is how every horror movie starts. So we get an MY car and he's giving me directions, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're going to some cute spot, something chill. And where do we pull up? Taco Bell. Like the most Taco Bell that ever Taco Belled. Neon, drive-through line wrapped around, teenage employees in survival mode, whole thing. And I'm just like, okay, we're doing this. It's not dinner, it's tacos, that's fine. It's not date, it's fuel, sure. At this point my expectations are already on the floor doing push-ups. I can go with it. We pull up to the speaker, and before I can even process what's happening, before I can get a single word out, this man leans across my body, across me, over me like I am his seatbelt, and he goes into the little speaker like he's about to negotiate a hostage release and says, I would like 100 hard-shell tacos, thank you. Not hello. Not can I get 2 combos. Not what do you want, babe. No, 100 hard-shell tacos. Like he's placing a wholesale order. Like he's restocking a food truck. Like he's feeding a minor league baseball team in 1997. And I'm frozen. My soul left my body and was hovering above the car like, girl, what are we doing here? And the girl on the speaker is like, I'm sorry, and he repeats it. Yeah, 100 hard-shell tacos. Thanks. Like he does this all the time. Like this is his regular Tuesday. Now here's the part where you think surely, this was a joke. Surely he's going to laugh and be like, nah, I'm playing, sorry. We'll take like 4 tacos and a Baja Blast. No, this is not a drill. He is dead serious. He's nodding to himself like, yeah, that's about right. Like he did the math on his calorie needs and concluded this was the efficient move. We pull up to the window. The total pops up. And then he does that thing. You know the thing. The wallet pat. The fake wallet pat. The oh no did I wow crazy, where's my that's so weird routine. He's doing the big performance. He's like patting his pants, patting his shirt, patting his hair like maybe his MasterCard is tucked behind his left ear or something. And I'm just sitting there watching him like, sir, be serious. Be for real for once in your life. And he goes all innocent. Oh, I forgot my wallet. Forgot your wallet. So, let's pause. In summary, I drive 45 minutes to his house. He lost his keys, so now I'm driving. He orders 100 tacos with my window. And then he forgets his wallet. By this point the universe is literally screaming at me in surround sound. But I do it. I swipe my card. I pay. I am in too deep. You ever be in a situation where you're like, this is already insane, so one more layer of insane won't matter? Yeah, that. And let's not glide past the cost. Do you understand how much 100 tacos is? We are not talking, oh haha cute $12. We are talking trays. Industrial trays. The back of house at Taco Bell is scrambling like it's a national emergency. They're calling in extra shells from storage. People are sprinting. Somebody in a visor is sweating. Management is involved. This is an operation. So now it's me, him, and 100 hard shell tacos in my car. We drive back to his place. His place, by the way, which I have still technically never been invited into with like, hey, is this cool? We're just doing it. We walk in and immediately I realize, this is not his place. This is his dad's house. His dad is literally sitting on the couch like a final boss. No shirt, TV glow, that dad stare like, who is this and why is she in my home with $179 of Taco Bell? We go into the kitchen/dining room situation, and this man, and I am not exaggerating this, I wish I was, he just starts dumping tacos. Like not plates. Not like, here, let me plate this nicely. No. He is opening boxes and physically pouring piles of tacos onto the table. Just mountains of hard shells sliding everywhere, lettuce avalanche, shredded cheese confetti. It's like watching a party platter lose structural integrity in real time. Then he sits down in this weird ceremonial way, slams both hands on the table, and full volume screams. Let's feast. Like we're Vikings. Like we just returned from war. Like we pillaged the Taco Bell kingdom and now must honor fallen warriors with crunchy beef. And then he goes completely, absolutely silent. No music. No conversation. Just crunching. We are eating hard-shell tacos in total silence, like some kind of cult ritual. I can hear his chewing. He can hear my chewing. I can hear the dad chewing. Yes. Dad joins. Dad just kind of drifts into the doorway like a horror game NPC, grabs a taco off the pile, and stands there next to us while he eats it. Standing. Hovering. Staring. Not talking. Just breathing and chewing and watching me. Do you understand how loud chewing is when no one is talking? It's like being trapped inside someone else's mouth. And I'm sitting there like, this is how I die. This is it. This is how people end up in documentaries. She was last seen at a Taco Bell drive-thru with a man known locally as Taco Bill. Because that's what he is now, by the way. He is Taco Bill. Don't tell me that's not his name. Every girl in a 50-mile radius knows him as Taco Bill. I guarantee he has done this exact lost my keys, lost my wallet, buy me 100 tacos routine before. The system is too smooth. This is a scam he has refined. And I realize something else. This is not even about the tacos. This is about control. He got me to drive to him, drive for him, pay for him, bring the food back to his space, sit in his house, sit at his table, next to his father, and accept total silence on his terms. I am in his little world now, where he is impressive and desired and fed. That's the real thing he's eating. So I sit there and I'm thinking, if I stay, I'm getting murdered. If I run, I'm getting chased. I need an exit that does not get me stabbed with a spork. So I do what polite women do when they think they might die. I get nice. I get real nice. I start packing tacos into my purse. Like casually, like, oh, I'll take some for later, haha. Because if I'm going to die, I'm at least taking snacks to the afterlife. No, but for real, I start quietly loading boxes into my bag so I have an excuse to stand, move, get to the door. And then I do it. I stand up, I smile, I put on my so grateful, wow, thanks so much for this experience, smiley face, voice, and I go, thank you for this. You will never hear from me again. So we're walking, right? Daytime, publicish, because I'm not stupid, but where we ended up walking was more empty than I thought it would be. It's one of those nature reserves that on Instagram looks wholesome and mental health walk sparkles, but in real life it's like 3 joggers, a guy with a dog that looks like it eats drywall, and then miles of trees and silence and tall grass that definitely has bodies in it already. So we're walking and it's going okay. Small talk. And then out of absolutely nowhere this man looks around, does like a little dramatic arm sweep at the trees like he's in a documentary and goes, wow, it's crazy. I could just kill you right here and no one would even know. Excuse me? No transition. No joke setup. No haha true crime, am I right? Just full volume. I could murder you and no one would find you. On a first date. In a secluded area. With me. And then he keeps walking. Like he expects me to just nod and go, LOL totally babe. And I'm like, huh, because that's all my brain can load right now. Huh. And he laughs like this low little heh. And he goes, no, I'm just saying. Look how empty it is. I could bash your head in with a rock and drag you into the bushes and nobody would ever know. It'd be so easy. He says it like a weather observation. It might rain later. I could absolutely end your bloodline right now. Same tone. And I'm walking next to him, but now I'm not next to him. I'm 2 inches behind him, because suddenly I don't want him behind me. I want him in front, where I can see his hands. You think you're going on a cute walk, but now you're doing tactical spacing like your Secret Service for yourself. And he's still talking. Because oh, he's not done. He goes, it's funny, right? Like, it'd be so easy. People don't even realize. It'd be so easy. I could literally just... And he mimes it. This man, with his whole chest, lifts his arm and air swings like he's bringing down an invisible rock on my skull. And I laugh. I actually laugh. You know that laugh you do when you are not okay? That high, tight, haha OMG you're so funny, laugh women learn in primary school as self-defense. That one. I do that laugh. Survival laugh. Haha, you're not actually planning my death right now, right? Haha, right? Haha, please say right. And he goes, no, it's just like, imagine I smash your head in, toss you in those reeds over there. Boom. Done. No one finds you till next spring. Next. Spring. Sir. What do you mean next spring? Who talks like that unless they've actually stood in this exact spot and planned this exact scenario in detail, on a previous day, maybe multiple times, possibly with different girls? Like, are you giving me a tour of your fantasy crime scene right now? Are we doing a guided audio narration of my potential cold case? He's walking and talking like a podcast. Welcome back to How I'd Do It. I'm your host, Red Flag McShoulderveins. Now, there's a guy narrating this whole thing later, right, reacting to this story, and he's like, listen, men, you do not ever need to point out to a woman that you physically could kill her. We know. That thought. has already visited us. It's already gotten comfortable. It's been renting a furnished room in our minds since we were like 12. You're not introducing new information. You're just confirming you've thought about it too. But this dude doesn't get that. He keeps justifying it like, no, it's just funny to think about. This place is so quiet. Like nobody's around. You could scream and no one would hear you. He literally says those words. You could scream and no one would hear you. And I'm like, haha, wow, yeah, it's super quiet actually, haha, crazy, haha, smiley face. While my nervous system is pulling the fire alarm, cutting the wires, and exiting out the back. At this point I'm doing math in my head. This is the math women do in these moments. If he lunges, can I run in these shoes? There's mud, I will slip. Where's my phone? How fast can I get 911 open? If I bolt toward the car park, is it uphill or downhill? Are there other people in sight? Did that guy with the dog go left or right? Can I hit him first? How heavy is that branch? Could I break his knee and make it out? Could I survive this if I had to? It's like a little pop quiz the patriarchy gives you every time you leave your house. And he is just out here having the time of his life, inventing new reasons I should never trust a man again. So I try steering it off the topic of me as a corpse, right? I go, haha, yeah, anyway, what do you do for work? And he says, security. Security. Like actually, that's what he says. I work in security. Great. Fantastic. So you have experience carrying people and hiding things. Love that for me. Love that journey. My spine is liquid now. So I push again, like okay, maybe if I make him talk about himself, he'll stop talking about ending me. So I'm like, oh wow, you like it? And he goes, yeah, it teaches you how to read people, like who's weak, who's not gonna fight back. Sir. At this point I'm not even scared, I'm just offended. Who's weak? I will bite your cheek off. I will go full feral raccoon. Do not try me. And the wild part is, you can tell he thinks he's impressing me. He's doing this slightly smug. You're probably a little intimidated by how dangerous I am, huff face. Like he thinks I'm going to be all breathy and starstruck, like, oh my god, you're so scary, I feel so protected. No, I feel endangered. There is a difference. You are the threat. That's like lighting my house on fire, and then asking if I feel safe with you around because you know fire. And here's the thing, he keeps insisting it's just a joke. Every time I go quiet for 2 seconds, he panics a little and goes, no, I'm kidding, obviously. I'd never actually do that. I'm not crazy. And then, without a pause, immediately he goes, I mean, unless someone pushed me. Like, if somebody messed with me, then yeah, I could. For sure. I could get away with it. Like, they'd never catch me. I swear to you I am not exaggerating. He is literally arguing his own hypothetical defense in court in front of me while we're standing in some trees. He's building his alibi out loud. He's like, I watch those true crime shows, they barely catch half of them anyway. And I'm like, nope. Mem. In fact, actually, studies show 100% of murderers get caught instantly, like actually before they even do it. They're pre-caught. They're negatively caught. You're already in prison. We're talking on prison Wi-Fi right now. Please don't kill me. So now I have a decision to make. Do I shut this down and risk making him mad? Or do I keep doing nervous giggle girlfriend simulator until we get near a witness? Because this is the part men don't get. Sometimes you're not being nice to be nice. You're being nice because you are actively managing the temperature in the room so you don't get hurt. You're doing hostage negotiation with a dude who thinks he's cute. We finally start heading back toward the parking lot and I'm like, oh wow, I'm actually really tired. I think I'm gonna head out, big day tomorrow, haha. And he's like, already? I thought we were vibing. Vibing. That's the word he uses. Vibing. As in vibe check. I could hide your body in that ditch. And then, this part kills me. When we get to the cars, he actually goes in for a hug. A hug. Like he didn't just give me an itemized list of how I'd be found by a dog walker in April. So this girl is telling this story, and at first you're like, okay, this is weird, but it's still in the haha dating is rough category. And then you hit the part where your soul just leaves your body and refuses to come back. She's in New York City. First date. Normal. Chill. They go to this nice cocktail bar, so we're not talking like Taco Bell drive-thru energy. We're talking, I put on perfume and a real shoe. They're walking afterward, heading back, just talking, vibing, and then he steps in something. Now this is New York, right? So when I say he stepped in something, you already know it's not gum. It is not. Oh haha, I found some frosting on the sidewalk. No. It is street poop. City poop. Mystery poop. Source unknown. Could be dog. Could be pigeon. Could be human. Could be some fourth category we don't even have language for yet. You don't ask follow-ups. You just say, "Oh gross," and keep walking and pray for emotional healing. So he steps in it, and immediately he's like, "Ugh, ew," which is fine, normal reaction. But then this man, and I need you to really picture this, because this is where the story crosses the line into, I now believe demons are walking among us. He lifts his SHOE, takes his bare hand, and just wipes straight across the bottom of his shoe. Full palm. Full contact. Like he's cleaning a whiteboard. He smears it. With his hand. Not a napkin, not a leaf, not the curb, not let me drag the sole on some grass. His palm. His living hand that he is going to continue using in society. And then he just stands there holding it. Like he freezes. He's looking down at his own hand, which is now completely covered in actual sidewalk excrement. And he goes out loud like he's in a nature documentary watching himself. "Oh my God. Why did I just do that?" She goes, I don't know. I don't know why you did that." And he's just staring at his hand in horror, like it betrayed him. Which, honestly fair, but also, sir, you are the hand. You did that. There was no second shooter. This wasn't the poop acted alone. This was you. Then, as if we are not already at DEFCON 1, he looks up at her with his poop hand still out and goes, playful voice, like he's joking, "I'm gonna get you," and starts chasing her down the sidewalk with the poop hand. He's literally running after her going, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." Like he's 5 years old on a playground, except instead of having like a worm or a frog, he has New York City poop smeared across his hand, and he is coming in hot like it's enrichment time at the zoo. And she's sprinting, like she's in heels, dress, whatever, and she is sprinting down the block like her life depends on it. Which honestly at that point, it does. There are certain kinds of contamination you don't come back from. Your skin remembers. Your soul remembers. You're never clean again. You could boil yourself and still smell it in your bones. And here's the part that actually breaks my brain, because this is when it stops being gross and starts being psychological horror. He's chasing her and he's yelling, "I'm gonna get you." But at the same time he's also yelling, "Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?" Like he's not in control of himself. Like his brain clocked out and left his body on autopilot chaos mode. He is literally narrating his own mental breakdown in real time, while using a poop hand as a weapon. That is demon behavior. Because think about it, if a guy is like, "Haha, I'm joking," that's one thing. Still not funny, still don't do that, obviously. But this wasn't that. This wasn't, "Haha, I'm teasing you." This was, "My body is running after you with biohazard fingers, and my mouth is just along for the ride screaming, 'Why am I like this?'" And I just want you to imagine being her in that moment. You're thinking, am I about to get touched? Am I about to get wiped? Am I about to go home with bacteria that doesn't even have a CDC page yet? Do I call the police? Can I call the police? Is poop pursuit a charge? Is there like a law for this? There should be a law for this. If there's not, someone needs to get on that. Because let's be very clear, this is assault adjacent. If someone chases you with an open palm of unknown fecal origins, that is biologically a threat. I feel like that should be in a textbook. Threat displays in human males include puffed chest, raised voice, and in rare extreme cases, pursuit with fecal smear. She says she obviously never saw him again, and thank God, because you're just waiting for the story to end with, "And now we're married." And you're like, please say that's not where this is going. Please say this isn't the father of your children. But no. She ran, she lived, she blocked him, she washed her entire existence, hopefully burned those shoes, baptized herself in boiling water, whatever she needed to do. And the dude telling the story afterward is like, this right here? This is what happens when men who need therapy don't. Like, this is the final evolution of, I'm fine, I don't need to talk to anyone. One day all the weirdness they've been repressing builds up and just detonates on a sidewalk in Manhattan, and suddenly they're chasing innocent women with poop hands yelling, "Why am I doing this?" And honestly, he's not wrong. Because here's the thing, this is the part people don't get. She's laughing a little while she's telling it, because that's how we survive, but that's genuinely scary. Like genuinely. I could get sick, I could get grabbed. I could get humiliated in public. I could get cornered by someone who's clearly not mentally stable, all in one moment. That's not just EW gross. That's, am I safe right now? And the worst part is, guys will hear this and go, he was just joking though, right? Like it's harmless, like she's dramatic. And women hear this and go, yep. That tracks. That's exactly the kind of thing that happens on a first date with a stranger in this economy. So yeah, moral of the story. If a man ever, at any point, in any context, touches public sidewalk poop and then uses it to chase you while narrating his own breakdown like a Discovery Channel special, no second date. Block. Delete. Relocate if necessary. Change your name. Enter witness protection. Get a new passport. Start over in a different country. Because that's not quirky. That's not, haha, he's so random. That is a walking biohazard with commitment issues. So this one is wild in a totally different way. Not scary, not gross, just financially and spiritually disrespectful. So he matches this girl on Hinge. Off rip, she's like, let's get dinner tonight. Not let's chat, not coffee sometime, not maybe this weekend, no, tonight. And not just grab food. She specifically says white tablecloth, which is code for you're paying and I want appetizers. He's already suspicious, because that kind of energy can be either confidence or scam. But he's like, fine. He picks her up, drives her to a nice spot right before closing. He's not even hungry, it's like 9:15 p.m., but she orders like she's clocking in. Appetizer for her, full entree for her, margarita for her. Not, what are you getting? Just straight to business. Then she goes, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Okay. Normal. Except she's gone for 15, 20 minutes. Now, at that point most people assume they just got dined and dashed on. He's sitting alone at a table like, did this woman seriously make me drive her out to a restaurant as an Uber and a wallet and then vanish? So he gets up to go check. He does not find her in the bathroom. He finds her in a private banquet room in the same restaurant, on what is clearly another date. She is literally sitting with some other dude, drink in hand, chatting, laughing. Mid-shift. Like she just rotated tables. Like she's doing sections. He walks in and she's like, oh hey, like this is normal. Like she's running dual screens. And here's where he's a better person than most, because instead of flipping the table or making a scene, he just goes back to his table and waits. He sits. He scrolls Twitter. He treats it like maintenance downtime. She finally comes back and gives him this lazy, haha sorry, that was a friend from high school, we were just catching up. Girl, be serious. No one catches up in a banquet room with candles. Then the bill lands. Now this is the part where, if you're gonna act like a princess all night, you should at least commit and keep the same energy. But the second the check hits the table, she suddenly goes real quiet. He's like, so we splitting? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Her card declines. $419. So she literally Venmos herself money from some other guy in front of him, just so she can pay her half. Like she's crowdsourcing the date in real time. Then, and this is the part where I screamed, she gives him a post-date performance review. She's like, so just so you know, you didn't open my car door and you didn't pay for me, so this honestly wasn't that great. Ma'am, you disappeared to go sit with another man mid-burrito, and you're doing Yelp feedback. He said he just left her there. Which, king behavior honestly. Because bare minimum, if you're gonna juggle two dudes at once in the same establishment, don't act brand new when one of them stops playing. So this one sounds harmless at first, like, oh she just likes to drink. And then you do the maths and realize you just sponsored a chemical event. He takes this girl out. He hasn't dated in a while, so he's like actually hopeful. She says she wants Mexican food, which to him is a green flag because Mexican plus margaritas equals obviously we're about to have a chill, fun night. They sit down. Restaurants doing $10 margaritas. Not little sad house margs in a Dixie cup. The big ones. The ones that are basically a fishbowl with salt. Cool. Round 1 fine. People get a drink to loosen up. Round 2 okay, still normal. You're on a date, conversation's flowing, that's allowed. Then she orders number 3. Then number 4. Then number 5. By the time she's on number 6, he's watching this like it's a science experiment. She's not slurring. She's not wobbling. She's just steady. Focused. Like a professional. Like this is not her first tour. He says she hits 7. Then 8. 8 full margaritas. At $10 each. On a first date. And he's sitting there doing terrified bar math in his head like, that's $80 just in tequila. That's not even food. That's not tax. That's not tip. That's not my drink. That's not guac. Meanwhile she's like, this is so fun, I'm having the best time. And of course she is. Of course you're having the best time. You're on vacation, sweetheart. You're on paid leave. You're sponsored. He's looking at the receipt, like it's a hospital bill. He's about to cry signing it. You can see his soul leave through the pen stroke. And here's the other layer. It's not even just money. It's liability. He's thinking, if she stands up and falls over, that's on me. If she acts in the Uber, that's on me. If she blacks out and I have to carry her, that's on me. I am now legally tethered to this situation because I said, sure, dinner sounds good. And he's like, yeah, nah. I'm done. I'm built for love, not for $80 worth of tequila in one sitting. Which is honestly fair. About 8 years ago, I went through a stretch of my life that I can only describe as hollow. Maybe even pathetic, but that's hindsight. Back then, it just felt like survival. I was 32, living alone in a one-bedroom apartment just outside downtown Denver, Colorado. I'd had a couple of long-term relationships before, but the most recent one, the one I thought was the one, came to a screeching, soul-crushing end. His name was Aaron. We were together for 5 years. He was the kind of guy who knew his way around a kitchen, always had the perfect Spotify playlist for road trips, and could fall asleep anywhere. I thought I'd marry him. I had imagined our wedding in Estes Park, maybe a honeymoon in Italy. But one night, over dinner at Root Down, he told me he couldn't do it anymore. Said he wasn't ready. That he needed time to figure himself out. A week later, I found out he was seeing someone else. Someone younger, thinner, and probably less obsessed with Harry Potter and true crime documentaries. It was a bitter pill, and I swallowed it with wine, takeout, and far too many late-night replays of The Office. But Aaron isn't the story here. He's just the wound that left the scar. A couple of months after that breakup, I found myself spiraling. I wasn't looking for love, I was looking for distraction. I signed up for one of those dating sites. Maybe it was OkCupid, maybe Plenty of Fish. I honestly can't remember. They all blend together after a while. The matches were a mess. Guys who listed things like no tall chicks or no girls who geek out on Harry Potter in their bios. I'm 5 feet 10 inches and have a Deathly Hallows tattoo, so it was a hard pass from me. After a few weeks of nothing, I stumbled across a profile that stopped me mid-scroll. His name was Yarek. He had long black hair, wore vintage pop culture shirts in all his pictures, and had this easy, crooked smile that didn't feel forced. He was taller than me, which was nice but not essential. What really struck me was how genuine his profile felt. He talked about music, animal shelters, and how he still missed playing in his old band. I liked his profile, and to my surprise, he liked me back. I messaged him first, saying something like, "Your hair is better than mine. What's your secret?" He replied within minutes, joking that he'd made a pact with the devil in exchange for eternally perfect conditioner. I laughed out loud. That's how it started. We talked every night for the next 2 weeks. Then we moved to phone calls. He had this warm, melodic voice, like he could have been a radio DJ or a lounge singer. He told me about his old band, how they used to play late-night sets at local dive bars in Boulder. He'd worked at a vet clinic recently, mostly sitting with overnight animals, comforting them after surgeries or helping those who were too sick to be alone. I swear, I could feel myself falling for him through the phone. But there was always this little voice in my head whispering, "Why is someone like him single?" He was funny, caring, attractive. It didn't make sense. So one night I asked. He paused, then finally said, "It's complicated." Red flag? Maybe. But I was in deep. I gently pressed him for more, and he eventually confessed that he was married, but separated. "It's over," he said. "We're just working through logistics." Not ideal, but not a deal breaker. I'd been there too. Relationships can be messy. I figured if he was being honest with me, maybe he deserved a chance. We finally agreed to meet in person. Saturday morning. Coffee at Aviano on 2nd Avenue. I wore my favorite oversized sweater and jeans. When I walked in, he was already there, tucked into a corner with 2 coffees on the table like he'd guessed my order. He looked exactly like his photos. Not slightly off. Not 10 years older. Just him. I was relieved. We talked for hours. About movies, our favorite concerts, the worst dates we'd ever had. He made me laugh until my stomach hurt. I hadn't felt that light in months. At one point, I looked at him and thought, maybe this could be something. As the sun crept higher in the sky, I mentioned I should probably head home soon. He nodded, then glanced down at the floor like he was trying to summon courage. I tilted my head and asked if everything was okay. "I actually need a favor," he said, looking sheepish. "I don't have a car right now. Is there any chance you could give me a ride?" I hesitated, not because I didn't trust him, but because it caught me off guard. I hadn't seen him arrive, so I didn't realize he hadn't driven. but he looked genuinely embarrassed. "Sure," I said. "It's no problem." He thanked me, and we walked to my car. As we drove, he gave me directions. Left here, right at the light, another left. We made small talk, and then he got quiet. I asked about the separation again. That's when he dropped the bomb. "We're not technically separated yet," he said. "I mean, we're not divorced. We're in a weird place." My stomach dropped. My fingers tightened around the steering wheel. "So you're still married?" I asked. He nodded. "Yeah, but it's done. There's no fixing it." I didn't respond. I just kept driving, letting the silence fill the car. He started talking more about how things went wrong, how he felt trapped, how he'd made mistakes. I wasn't really listening. I was too busy berating myself for getting pulled in. Then he said, "Turn right up here. Into that lot." I looked up and realized we were pulling into a police station. I parked and turned to him, completely confused. "Why are we here?" He looked at the building, then back at me. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I really liked you. You're a beautiful person. I wish I met you under different circumstances." "What are you talking about?" He sighed. "I'm going in to confess something. Something bad. I didn't mean for you to get caught up in this." My mouth went dry. What did you do?" He paused, eyes glistening. "It was an accident. I never meant for it to happen. But it did, and I have to own it." He opened his door and stepped out, then gently closed it behind him. I watched, frozen, as he walked into the station. He approached the front desk, spoke to someone, and within minutes, a uniformed officer came to meet him. They talked briefly, then the officer handcuffed him and led him through a side door. I just sat there numb. A few minutes later, another officer came out and knocked on my window. I rolled it down, heart hammering. "Ma'am," he said, "how do you know the man you just dropped off?" I stammered. "We were on a date, our first date." He raised an eyebrow. "You weren't aware of his situation?" "No," I said. "He said he was separated. That was all I knew." He nodded somberly, then said, "He just confessed to the murder of his wife." The world stopped spinning. I couldn't breathe. I answered their questions, told them everything I knew. They took my name, my number, and eventually let me go. As I drove home, the full weight of what had just happened began to settle in. I had coffee with a murderer. I gave him a ride. I laughed with him. I complimented his hair. I still don't know if our date was just a ploy for one last moment of normalcy, or if he genuinely liked me and wanted something real before facing whatever consequences lay ahead. Maybe he needed someone to see him as human one last time. But the scariest part, he didn't seem like a monster. He wasn't creepy or aggressive. He was charming, thoughtful, sweet. Just a guy. The day of the run, the Charles River looked like glass, still, stretched, and catching the light like it had something to prove. I signed up for the 10K on a dare from myself. After weeks of doom scrolling and takeout, I wanted a reset. Something to sweat out the stagnation. The Stride Kind charity event promised a digital wellness ecosystem, whatever that meant, and a free tech shirt made from recycled ocean plastic. I picked up my packet at a pop-up booth in Back Bay. Inside were the usual goodies, bib, pins, coupons, but also a wristband with a square chip embedded in the clasp. "This logs your pace, heart rate, and route," said the guy behind the table, handing me a brochure. "Sync it with the Stride Kind app, and you'll unlock personalized coaching, motivation recordings, even post-run breath work." He was tall, lean, in a hoodie with the Stride Kind logo, a minimalist wave with a heart inside it. His name tag read Renzo. "Is this one of those apps that tells me I'm dying when I miss a run?" I asked, half joking. He laughed. "Only if your soul's dying too." I raised an eyebrow. That was weirdly hot. He grinned. "You'd be surprised how many people say that." We talked a little longer than necessary. He offered a demo of the app, guided runs, biometric feedback, even a mindful cool-down, narrated by someone who sounded like a sleepier version of Timothy Chalamet. I scanned the QR code, downloaded the app, and synced the wristband. "See you at the finish line," Renzo said, voice low and playful. I ran the 10K the next morning, heart pounding, pace steady, legs burning in the best way. Every kilometer, the app buzzed with encouragement. "You're stronger than yesterday. Tap into your breath. You are your own finish line." It was cheesy, but it worked. I crossed the finish line breathless and proud. Renzo found me in the crowd and handed me a coconut water. "You crushed it," he said. "Your BPM stayed stable the entire final mile. That's rare. You're tracking that?" He nodded, tapping his phone. "Just performance data. Helps us calibrate your next run. I didn't question it. That night, the app congratulated me with a badge called Woke Warrior and pushed a playlist titled Burn Plus Rise. I clicked on it. The music was dark, pulsing. Halfway through, a voiceover started, something about grit, discipline, and eliminating ideological clutter. Weird. The next day, I noticed a new tab on the app, Awareness Streams. It offered high-performance thought content. Curious, I opened it. The videos were slick. The thumbnails looked like TED Talks. But the titles got dense fast. Biopower and the Fall of the Soft Mind. Purity Metrics in Urban Planning. One clip featured a man ranting about how digital sovereignty required rejecting democracy as an obsolete algorithm. I backed out of the tab. Later, on Instagram, I started seeing ads for nootropics and tactical gear. A bio-optimization retreat in Montana. An influencer selling body-first ideologies with phrases like, train your blood, train your beliefs. I checked my privacy settings. The StrideKind app had access to everything: location, contacts, health data, even microphone access. I uninstalled it. That night, an email arrived. Subject: your optimization journey is just beginning. Inside, a message from Renzo, or someone using his name. You've unlocked an elite threshold. Don't quit now. Your data proves you're a candidate for Phase 2. Phase 2? I replied. What the hell is Phase 2? No answer. I posted about it online. A few runners messaged me privately. One said her phone kept playing motivation tracks, even when the app was closed. Another said she got a job ad from a discipline-first startup 2 days after syncing her wristband. I searched StrideKind plus metadata and found a Reddit thread titled Running or Recruiting. People were asking the same questions. Complaints about biometric data being sold. About political content targeting users with certain heart rate patterns. About performance coaching that veered into ideological conditioning. I went cold. I emailed StrideKind. No reply. I tried to log back into the app. My account was locked. A message flashed across the login screen. You already know where to go. Now run. I threw the wristband in the trash. The next day, I got a text from an unknown number. Don't lose momentum. We're watching your curve. I blocked the number. I reset my phone. I deleted every health app I'd ever downloaded. I didn't run for 2 weeks. When I finally laced up again, I left my phone at home and ran without music. Just my breath, my pulse, my own damn rhythm. No tech, no coach, no curve to chase. Just me in the street. Because sometimes the finish line isn't about performance. It's about reclaiming the run. Cashin ordered mezcal like he'd invented it. We met on a Tuesday night, slow and slurred, the kind of night where the city feels like it's exhaling. The bar was tucked into a basement off Delancey, all candlelight and velvet booths. He wore a black shirt, unbuttoned just enough, with sleeves rolled to his forearms and a laugh that landed somewhere between smooth and dangerous. I liked him immediately. Too much, probably. He didn't ask questions the way most men do. He asked like he was already imagining the answers. What makes you feel alive? Would you rather be worshipped or feared? Have you ever kissed someone just to ruin them? I laughed, maybe too loud. You ask that on all your first dates? Only the ones that matter. His hand brushed my thigh under the table. Not by accident. We talked about books we never finished, places we'd pretended to live, people we'd almost loved. He said he didn't believe in fate, but he believed in signals. I asked what kind of signals. He just looked at me and said, this. We left the bar just before 1 a.m., high on smoke and something unspoken. The air outside tasted metallic, like rain that hadn't landed yet. The streets were mostly empty, just a few cabs sliding past and the glow of neon signs bleeding onto the sidewalk. He slipped his jacket over my bare shoulders. Cold, he asked. Not with you, I said, and hated how much I meant it. We walked slowly, his fingers brushing mine, then lacing them together. A quiet kind of claiming. I let him lead. When we reached the corner, Orchard and Stanton, he paused. I know a shortcut, he said. Shortcut to what? To wherever you want the night to go. He turned down a side alley without waiting for my answer. I hesitated. But you know how it is. When someone makes you feel chosen, your body forgets to be cautious. I followed. The alley was narrow, framed by brick walls slick with condensation. A single flickering light overhead made shadows stretch long and strange. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed and died. He stopped near a fire escape, and turned to face me. His eyes were darker now, hungry. "I've been thinking about kissing you since the first sip," he said. "So kiss me," I whispered. He did. It was slow and firm, one hand gripping the back of my neck, the other sliding down my spine. I pressed into him, drunk on touch, breath fast, hips tilted forward. His mouth tasted like smoke and lime, and something bitter underneath. His hand dropped to my waist, then lower. I gasped. "Here." He smiled against my mouth. "You like dark corners." I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. We were a tangle of teeth and breath and fingertips, the kind of kiss that feels like falling down a flight of stairs and liking the landing. I reached for his belt. He caught my wrist. "Not yet," he said. Then something changed. The air shifted. His grip tightened. "Do you trust me?" he asked. "Enough," I said, half laughing. He let go of my wrist, reached into his coat, and pulled out the knife. I didn't have time to scream. The blade slid between my ribs like it belonged there. For a second, I didn't even feel pain, just shock, sharp and bright. I stumbled backward, hand to my side, eyes wide. He didn't run. He stepped close, tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, and whispered, "You said you liked danger." My knees buckled. He caught me, not gently but efficiently, lowered me to the ground, then walked away like he was late for a cab. I lay there, blood pooling under my ribs, the taste of him still on my lips. The flickering light above me buzzed once, then died. Everything else followed. I woke up in the hospital. Collapsed lung. Internal bleeding. No ID on the attacker. My phone was gone. No prints. Just a security camera that caught a blur of black leaving the alley. No one believed it was a date. Not the cops. Not the nurse. Not even my sister. They asked why I followed him. Why I didn't scream. Why I went down the alley. I didn't answer. How do you explain that you wanted to be touched more than you wanted to be safe? I replayed it constantly, the drink, the kiss, the blade. The way he looked at me when he did it. Like he was doing me a favor. Like I'd asked for it. And no, I have not dated since then, still too fresh in my eyes. It started with a ping. Not a loud one. Not even alarming. Just a quiet little chime on my phone that said, "Unknown accessory detected near you. This item has been moving with you for a while." I was sitting in my car, engine running, waiting for the coffee shop drive-through to inch forward. Still half asleep. I saw the notification and thought, weird. Probably someone's Bluetooth speaker. But it wasn't. It was something else. Something planted. And it led me back to Anessa. We matched in mid-June. I remember because it was the same week I decided to take a break from dating apps. And then, of course, I matched with someone actually interesting. Anessa had this kind of effortless edge to her. Her photos weren't over-edited or posed. One was a blurry shot of her laughing at a house party. Another showed her tuning a guitar. In her bio she wrote, "I like rainy nights, horror movies, and people who don't flinch." We messaged for 2 days before meeting up. She was sharp, funny, a little dark in a way I liked. We joked about which of us would turn out to be the serial killer. She said, "If I were one, I'd be the kind that leaves clues." I said, "I'd never get caught." We liked that about each other. Our first date was drinks at a rooftop bar downtown. She wore this deep green jacket that matched her eyes and boots that made her look like she could either break my heart or my kneecaps. Maybe both. We talked for hours. About old movies, weird dreams, the uncanny feeling of being awake at 3 a.m. and not knowing why. She leaned in close when she laughed. Touched my arm when I made her smile. Told me I had still water energy. I didn't know what that meant, but I liked how she said it. She invited me back to her place. I said yes. It wasn't anything wild. We hung out on her couch, played each other songs we liked. She showed me a sketchbook full of ink drawings, mostly faces, all of them expressive, some downright disturbing. She said she liked watching people and drawing what she thought they were feeling, but not saying. One of the faces looked eerily like mine. I pointed it out. She just smiled and said, "I draw fast." Around midnight, I said I should head home. She walked me to the door and kissed me slow. "Text me when you get back," she said, "so I know you're safe." At the time, I thought that was sweet. Now I wonder if it was something else. We went out 3 more times over the next 2 weeks. Each time, she asked more questions. "Where do you usually hang out? What gym do you go to? Do you take the same route to work every day?" I told myself she was just curious. Attentive. Maybe a little intense. I didn't see the warning signs. Not yet. The last time I saw her, she was different. We met at a bookstore cafe. She seemed distant, tired. Her eyes had this hollow pull, like she'd been up all night thinking about something she couldn't say. I asked if she was okay. She said, "I just get attached too easily." Then she added, "But I'm working on it." We hugged. She didn't kiss me. I texted her the next day. No response. I figured she was ghosting, that it was over. I moved on. Then came the ping. That quiet little notification that said something was following me. I tapped on it. My phone brought up a map. A red that had been with me for the past 2 hours. From my apartment, to the gas station, to the coffee shop. I opened the Find My app. It showed a device labeled Unknown AirTag. I'd never owned one. I searched my backpack. Nothing. My coat. Empty. Then I checked under the passenger seat of my car. There it was. A white AirTag, taped to the underside with black electrical tape. I just stared at it for a second, cold blooming in my chest. Whoever placed it there had known exactly where I was for days. Maybe longer. I took it to the police. They asked if I had any idea who could have planted it. I said I'd only gone on a few dates recently. Gave them Inessa's name. They asked for her last name. I didn't know it. She wasn't on social media. Her Tinder account had been deleted. The phone number she used? Disconnected. The address I'd driven to? That apartment was vacant. Had been for weeks. My stomach dropped. I'd been to that place 3 times. Sat on the couch. Drank wine. Used the bathroom. None of it was hers. I started to spiral. What was real? Who had I been talking to? Why had she wanted to know my schedule, my routes, the layout of my life? I have a few stories actually, but I'll tell you about one that I haven't told many people outside of my circle about. I'll try to keep it somewhat short though, even though I'm notoriously terrible at doing that. Anyways, let's move on. This happened back in early 2018. I was a horny 18-year-old at the time, and I'd been on this weird hybrid social media / dating / kink site for a few months. I made a status that was kinda stupid. I forget what I even said, but this one older chick, 46, from the Northwest somewhere sent me a PM about it and mentioned she always enjoyed my sense of humor and wanted to be friends, but she understood if I didn't want to talk. I told her it's okay, and that I appreciated the compliment, and we got to talking innocently for a while. Just some really low-key stuff honestly. I can't remember everything obviously since it was a couple years ago, and that part of our conversation didn't stick out from all the others I'd had on the app. It didn't take very long for things to get sexual, and being an attention-starved 18-year-old dude with some pretty low standards and not really knowing exactly what I wanted out of a romantic relationship, I guess I kinda just let it happen. We did some ERP, erotic roleplay, together, and it turned out we had a few of the same major kinks, so it was fun. After we had enough of a bond over that shit, we talked about each other's lives and situations a bit to get closer. That's where things started getting a little weird. So she told me that she had 2 sons, both of them older than me, but one was a lot closer in age. I mean, that's not really weird by any means, but she mentioned that she had a big thing for guys who were younger, and she made sure to put emphasis on how much younger she was into. It didn't really sit well with me at 18 that this chick was into guys around her son's ages, but I let it slide. Horny and confused are 2 emotions that don't really mix very well, especially in younger dudes. It was extremely conflicting, but like I said, I didn't really make it into a big deal at the time. I can't remember the order of these next 2 events, but I'll try my best. A few days later, she asks me, "King, I need to know right now, are you really 18? So I told her I was. She said, "I just wanted to be sure, I've been lied to before. A guy told me once a couple years ago that he was 18, but after we had sex I found out he was really 15-inch, and at that point I'm thinking, okay, maybe he did lie, but it's still pretty weird regardless." I think at that point it was starting to register with my hormonal-ass brain that something wasn't right. I was still dumb about it though, and I didn't break any contact, since at that point in time I was thinking I'd actually be able to sway my parents into taking me up to where she lived because of a college there that I wanted to check out, and maybe I'd get lucky one night. That's a long story in and of itself, but I don't feel like explaining my history with college and all that shit on here, so I won't. She messaged me later and said something along the lines of, "My entire week has been unproductive. I can't think about work at all. I've been thinking to myself, I want King and lots of attention, lol." I got some creepy obsessive vibes from that. I don't know what I said in response, but we eventually had another RP where she told me, "You're making me want to kidnap you so bad right now. If you come here I don't think I'll ever let you leave." Yeah, That would have been endearing if it was coming from someone who I didn't think was actually going to try and go through with it unironically. The whole thing was just getting to be too much. The obsession, the creepy messages, the fact that she fucked a dude below the age of consent, etc., etc. A few days after I was contemplating telling her I wasn't interested, she tried to bait me in further by saying, "You know, King, all the other 18-year-olds I've met have seemed more like kids than adults. Is it weird that I see you more as a full-grown man?" And looking back on it, in cases where the main goal is sex and not a relationship, I should have realized people who say that tend to be predatory as hell. I broke contact about a week later, and I haven't heard of her since then. I'm 21 now. I haven't tried to think too much about her. A few years back, my first GF broke up with me and cheated on me, so I was down, and after a few months I tried dating apps. I am 27, and back then I was 20, so Tinder etc. was not that huge of a thing back then and here in Europe. Well, I met someone after a few tries, and we dated and got together after a few dates. It all went really well in the beginning because we spent time together and we had spare time. Also, we both wanted the best for each other. After approximately 2 months, it all went downhill. Really fast. She wanted me to spend 8 days a week with her. She got jealous over all of my friends, for example. I met an old classmate after a few years, which is male. No offense here, I am a straight guy FYI. And she started writing and calling me like crazy, and I asked if anything happened. She said no, and then I was wondering if we can't speak later. Well, she had a fight with me over the pick the friend, and I took of our reunion, and having a nice day. She also got abusive and made fun of me and my hobbies. Once I was helping out in a small festivity in my town, and made good money for working 3 days straight. She called me every 5 minutes what I am doing, and when I come home. I then told her I am at work and I will turn off my phone now, because she is annoying as hell and I am super busy. She insisted on coming to the place I worked with a friend of her. I said alright, but I don't have time to come out, just to say hi. She and her friend started drinking and 2 random dudes tried to hit them up. She called me again billions of times. I was literally freaking out and telling her if she doesn't stop I let security take her away from here. After work I was going to her place and wanted to ask what this all was about and why she would drink with a stranger. And then she, her girlfriend, and the 2 strangers are coming, and the 2 dudes start shouting my name and all, and I was so pissed off I wanted to leave, and she started a fight that they didn't hit up on her. I was like, yeah, for sure, and if I would have done that, she would have let hell loose. She said it would be different if I do that. The best things are yet to come. She locked me up once in her room and flat. I was shouting for help and called my brother and she threatened me. I was never get physical or anything, but I was needing help. And after that I broke up with her. I told her mother I can't bring up any more energy for this, and I wish the best for her. She understood me and was such a kind person. Well, and my then ex threatened me to kill herself. She wrote me everywhere possible and asked me to come back. I told her one final time I won't, and why in a kind way. She wrote me she takes drugs because her friends tried to help her to overcome me. I was telling her that doesn't make things better, and that her friends are shitty if they support you like that. Now, here we go. Only a few weeks after that I was away with a group of friends eating and drinking in a pub. It was a super funny night, and then on my way home I was called by a stranger. I was picking it up and asked who was there, and the stranger started saying, "Oh hey," a wrong and shorter version of my name. "Can you remember me? We exchanged numbers when we were smoking at the club last time." I was thinking, okay, wrong number. "Hey there, wrong number. I hate that place and I don't smoke. Sorry, but good luck next time." I was getting off the train, and then I got another call by the same number. I was like, WTF. Picked it up and told him that he is definitely wrong, although he was drunk or something. He then told me, "Hey, I am a friend of your ex. She feels horrible and asked me to talk to you and to make you overthink to come back to her." I was so upset and pissed off. I shouted into the phone in the middle of the night, "Listen up, buddy. Nice try earlier, but I don't care who you are and if you buy her all the drugs. So don't fucking call me again." I was seeing people while I walked home in the distance in front of my gate. I was having a bad feeling and called my family to please pick me up at the stop. They did, and those guys got off really quick. I locked the gate and saw a plant and a note lying there on our ground. I got her that plant. The note said, F****KU and your stupid flower and your stupid fake presents you made. At this point I said it is enough. Stalking is absolutely not funny. I called the number back and then I freaked out really bad. "Listen up, mate. If I ever see you again close to my house, I call the cops. I have evidence of her threatening me online and with phone calls, etc. and also evidence you bothered me multiple times. And the note in the plant. Not so smart. I will tell this all to the police. I hope you regret it all now. After that I haven't heard anything of her. But once I was working in a restaurant at the bar, and she and her friends came there to eat. It was weird, but she told the guys I was her weird ex, and they started bothering me, and I had to get the whole group to get thrown out, and they are not allowed there anymore. For years ago, I thought I had life figured out. I had a girlfriend I adored, a steady job, and a ring hidden in my sock drawer. I was ready to propose. We'd been together for nearly 3 years, and despite a few bumps, she felt like home. Then one Thursday evening, I came back from work to find the apartment half empty. Her side of the closet was bare, her laptop gone, and a note on the counter that said, "I'm sorry. I need something else." Turns out, something else was a guy from her gym. I spiraled. Hard. My friends tried to help, dragged me to bars, movie nights, even a friend's bachelor party with dancers and dollar bills flying like confetti. And maybe it was the whiskey talking, but something inside me clicked that night. Why was I out here trying to build castles with people who only brought matches? I decided to live a little, for myself this time. I re-downloaded all the apps, Tinder, Hinge, Field, and updated my profile with a new haircut and a line that read, "Not looking for forever, just looking for fun. Bonus points if you like wings and horror movies." That's how I met her. Her name was Cressida, at least, that's what her profile said. She had jet black hair, striking gray eyes, and this confident smirk that said she'd already seen through whatever game I thought I was playing. Her bio was weirdly specific. Into tall guys W/long blonde hair, blue or gray eyes, 6 feet plus, and someone who would do anything for me. It felt oddly targeted. I ticked every box, physically anyway. The do anything part? That was more complicated. We started chatting. She was funny, quick with the sarcasm, and didn't ask a lot of small talk questions. Instead, she dove straight into stuff like, "What's your biggest fear?" Or, "If you had to erase one memory forever, what would it be?" Morbid? A little. But I was intrigued. She said she wasn't looking for a relationship, just a connection. That was fine by me. We agreed to meet up that Friday. We met at the Velvet Tap, a low-lit bar and grill in Austin, Texas. The kind of place with old-school booths, strong cocktails, and the best jalapeno wings in the city. She wore a red leather jacket and black jeans, her voice low and smooth, like she'd been narrating more films in another life. We ordered drinks and wings. Talked about normal stuff at first, jobs, music, travel plans. Then, somewhere between my second IPA and her third gin and tonic, the questions started getting odd. "Do you believe in energy transfer?" she asked. "Like crystals?" "No. Like blood. Or pain. Or intention." I laughed nervously. "That's intense." She smirked. "You'll get used to it." Then she asked if I liked horror movies. I said I loved them. She leaned in across the table. "You ever been in a situation where you didn't know if you were the hunter or the prey?" I smiled, trying to joke. "Well, this date's starting to feel that way." She laughed, harder than I expected. "You're funny. You'll do fine." I figured she was just eccentric. Maybe a little dramatic. But she was hot and I was buzzed, so when she asked if I wanted to come back to her place, I didn't hesitate. I followed her in my car. She lived in a small, eerily quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. Her house was one of those old ranch-style homes with a warped picket fence and wind chimes that sounded like bones clinking together. I told myself it was just the vibe. Inside, it was dimly lit. There were no overhead lights, just a few candles and a lava lamp in the corner. On the couch sat 2 other women. "These are my sisters," she said, introducing them as Odessa and Mira. They were just as striking as Cressida, dark hair, pale skin, smoky eye makeup. Like a trio of witches just back from a midnight seance. They offered me a drink. I took a bourbon and tried to play it cool, but I couldn't shake the feeling I'd walked into a weird art film. We all sat on the couch, sipping and chatting. Cressida sat close to me, her hand tracing lazy lines along my thigh. Her sisters watched us, smiling. Then Cressida stood up and said, "Let's go to my room." She led me down a hallway lit with red string lights. The walls were covered in abstract paintings, dark, chaotic swirls of black, red, and gray. Some looked like they'd been done with fingers, or maybe just smeared. I stepped into her room, and she shut the door behind us. There were no windows, just a mattress on the floor, a black sheet hung on one wall, and a small table with melted candles, and what looked like an antique dagger resting on a velvet cloth. NSFW or not, My body was still in hookup mode. I kissed her, and she kissed back hard, dragging her nails down my back. Then she straddled me and leaned in close. "You trust me?" she whispered. I hesitated. Yeah." She smiled. Then I felt it. A sharp, searing pain in my shoulder. I screamed and shoved her off me, stumbling toward the door. My vision blurred, and I almost fell. When I looked down, I saw the handle of a knife sticking out of my shoulder, blood seeping down my shirt. She stood there, breathing heavily, eyes shining in the candlelight. "It was supposed to be symbolic," she said softly. "Not deep." I yanked the knife out. Probably not the smartest move, but adrenaline was surging through me. I flung the door open and found Mira and Odessa standing in the hall. They didn't look shocked. They looked ready. "You're a gift," Mira whispered. "You were chosen." I don't remember what I screamed. Probably something primal. I shoved past them, ran barefoot through the living room, and bolted out the front door. My car keys were still in my pocket, thank God. I jumped in, locked the doors, and peeled out of the driveway. I drove straight to the nearest house with lights on and banged on the door like a madman. An elderly man answered, phone in hand, face pale when he saw the blood. He called 911. I collapsed on his couch. When I woke up, I was in the hospital with a police officer at my bedside. I told him everything about the dating app, the bar, the house, the women. He scribbled notes, asked for their names, addresses, anything. But when they checked, the house was empty. No furniture. No candles. No velvet cloth. Just dust and a broken window screen. The officer said the property belonged to someone who'd been renting it short-term through a third party. No record of anyone named Cressida, Odessa, or Mira. My phone was missing. All I had were my car keys and a piece of my shirt soaked in blood. They filed a report and said they'd follow up. They never did. I still have nerve pain in my left shoulder from the injury. Doctors said the knife missed critical arteries by less than an inch. I haven't dated since, not seriously. I deleted the apps, changed my number, even moved apartments. Every now and then, I get a weird friend request from a profile with no photo and a single letter for a name. I was part of a group with the woman and several other people. I won't name what we did, but let's just say it was in the space of performing comedy. I didn't know her or several of the other people ahead of time, but as I got to know her, she turned out to be really funny and excellent performer at what we did. She was a real pro. I personally am drawn to competence and talent, so we started hanging out. This was right around the time between Christmas and New Year's, and we would plan some events for the whole group, knowing that we were the only 2 members in town, so it wasn't so obvious to either of us or anybody else what was happening. We went to a movie totally platonically. We went to a nice Asian fusion restaurant platonically, and I invited her over to my house to watch a movie platonically, but with the intention of checking things out. This was like 3 days before New Year's. I will say that things went well, and then it's the only time in my life I've actually done the cliched thing of going on a date, bringing that date home, and then having sex with that date. The afternoon of New Year's Eve, she texted me the innocent question, "What are you doing for New Year's?" Which I took as an essentially platonic question, just asking me what I'm doing. I had been invited weeks earlier to go to the New Year's Eve/housewarming party, that my friend, female, was having at her new house. So I told her that's what my plans were. That became the first in a really long line of horrible text messages that realized I'd done the wrong thing with my penis, and I was being punished for it. Her position was that since she and I had had sex, my New Year's plans should be with her. Well, I was able to talk her off the ledge, but I didn't change my plans, and she managed to get herself disinvited before I was going to invite her to the same event. But I don't negotiate with terrorists, yada yada, so I didn't invite her. Things calmed down after that, after she realized I wasn't cheating on her, even though we were not in any kind of declared relationship. We were meeting at my house every week, and after we were done, everybody would take their stuff, put on their coats, and leave, and this one person would do all of that, walk out of the house, pretend to be leaving. Then when everybody was gone, she would come back inside, and we would do the funny bunny. That was pretty much our entire involvement. We didn't actually do anything socially together outside of my house, I think. Anyway, she was getting out of control, and I finally had to break it off with her, so I had a clear heart-to-heart compassionate conversation with her, and she seemed to understand, and then pretend like I didn't exist, and I mean like physically I didn't exist. She stopped speaking to me, she wouldn't even look at me at the times we had to have some interaction, and then, the texts. So, We're broken up. I'd elected to step away from the group that we were a part of because I felt she was more important to the group than I was. So we really were not seeing each other at all anywhere because I was also avoiding the community where we would perform. The texts she sent were vile. They were just horrible things about me that were not based on any specifics about me. Like, we didn't really spend that much time together and really didn't know that much about each other, but she did that thing where she would just describe some other person she must have known and then say I am built like that person. Every week or two I would get texts that she had figured it all out and then roll off a conspiracy that most typically was about how I was cheating on her and with who and how I was doing it. I mean, I guess I was a little bit flattered that she thought I was just getting that much ass and have the luxury to make a girl like her just another piece of ass in my harem, despite my behaving in no way that would indicate I regarded her like that. She would make mistakes in logic so large that they were like a gotcha in a government hearing. Like, she accused me of dating her only to make a prior girl I had dated jealous. Even though that other girl broke it off with me, and was also completely unaware of the relationship I had going on because girl I was really seeing and I were actively keeping it a secret from everybody but ourselves. I continued to get texts for months, and I would respond to them, always trying to make things better or explain something so she didn't feel so hurt, things like that. This Buddhist guy I was talking to in a little bar and explained the situation to, because I was being bombarded by texts as we were sitting there, pointed out to me that on some level I actually liked it, and I know he was right. I have enough training in related areas to know what he means. Basically, I was getting something out of it, or seeking to get something out of it, which was to first off be important to someone, secondly to try and preserve my good guy image, so that nobody ever in the world says something bad about me face with rolling eyes, and helps me keep my attention off of my own sense of loss and bereavement, not just about this relationship, but about all the relationships. As kindly and compassionately as I tried to treat her, I just knew I was not cut out to be one of those people that's abused by their partner verbally and or emotionally, and I wasn't really interested in that, so the Buddhist's advice was to simply stop responding to the texts. He rightly pointed out that I was just giving her what she wanted, so why should she stop? In this case, he was right. From that moment forward, I didn't respond to another text from her, and she stopped texting me about 3 days later or so. Her texts didn't change character at the end. She didn't acknowledge that I wasn't responding to her, and didn't seem to change tactics in response to this fact, but they just stopped. I never got another text from her ever. She's actually a really nice person, and very funny and talented, but also somewhat troubled by stuff from her past, to a slightly larger degree than most of us, so I do wish her well, and I've never wished her ill. It was absolutely my most mature handling of a breakup in my life, but also the worst breakup I had.